Greetings from South China. My name is Mike Bellamy, founder of the Passage Maker Group of Companies and a guest lecturer over at the China Sourcing Academy. I've been living in Asia full-time since 1993, primarily based in the city of Shenzhen in South China. And today I'd like to share with you some lessons I've learned over the years, the hard way. It's my pleasure to let you behind this bamboo curtain and offer some practical tips for sorting out problems with suppliers. For example, what do you do if the product isn't delivered on time, or if it has some quality issues, or your intellectual property is compromised? Now, if diplomatic means prove unsuccessful, before you go to court, you may want to consider issuing a demand letter in hopes of resolving the situation. A demand letter sent in English from your lawyer back home is not going to do much. Some buyers think that they can use a US-based lawyer to scare the Chinese supplier into corrective action. The only person that benefits in that case is the US lawyer who gets paid. Chinese suppliers know that a US lawyer and even a US court has absolutely no authority in China, no jurisdiction, so don't waste your money on that route, in my opinion. Get a local lawyer in China to write a demand letter in Chinese. This will actually have an impact. But before you get the lawyers involved or issue a demand letter, I would like to share with you how to resolve a problem with my supplier. Some experience where if you have these things in place, you'll have more leverage. Unfortunately, there's no Better Business Bureau in China where you can take your grievances, and you will find limited support from the governments, your government or theirs. So let me offer some more realistic tips. If you have the following items in place, then there is a decent chance of negotiating a resolution that is acceptable to you. 1. A signed contract with that official chop making the document formal that clearly defines what was the issue at hand. For example, what was the agreed delivery date that was missed? What was the agreed quality standard that wasn't achieved? You also need to have a clear paper trail showing proof of payment. A seller named on the contract should match the receiver of the payments. With so many trading companies out there, it's a common mistake to have a contract with a supplier yet pay somebody else, like a trading company or a person that's representing the factory. If it goes to court, you can't connect the dots in that case. It also helps a lot if your supplier has physical and real financial assets, meaning they're not just some one-man band hiding in an apartment that's going to disappear as soon as a lawsuit is on the way. If they have real assets, real business, then your lawyers can sink some teeth if needed. It also helps if the jurisdiction on the contract matches the location of the supplier's assets. It's always nice to have some future orders that you can leverage. That does help a lot in negotiating solutions. Now, also, before placing that purchase order, did you or a third party do some kind of audit or due diligence at the factory to confirm that the factory was legit? If yes, great. Keep that report on file because you might need it later. If you answer no to those questions about audits and inspections and contracts, please slap yourself hard on the wrist and pray that you have not learned a very expensive lesson. And shame on you, because third-party audits and contracts from local lawyers can be set up very inexpensive, hundreds of US dollars. So they're readily available and affordable. It's not like 10, 15 years ago where they were hard to find. Now they're a commodity. Okay, here are my suggested next steps if you aren't getting anywhere with resolving the dispute with your supplier. The first step is to define the damage and put a value on the cost of repair or replacement. Second step is to negotiate with your supplier on your own. If that fails, consider getting an English-speaking Chinese lawyer to write a demand letter, and if that fails, then you go to court. Here's a key point. Unlike most other nations, in China you can sue for lost revenue. Yeah. Since the price you sell to your buyer is certainly much higher than the price you pay to your suppliers, your demand letter can swing big and put the fear of God into the supplier. Last resort, go to court. Well, there is hope. I've been involved directly or indirectly with about 10 court cases so far during my time in China. All of them have had positive court decisions or at least a reasonable out-of-court settlement. But in all cases, the buyer had the critical items I mentioned earlier. So on that note, as always, be prepared, don't be scared. And I sign off wishing you successful sourcing in China. If you found the information in this video and the video series useful, please consider returning the favor in the following ways. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that like button and post some comments, or check out my blogs and sign up for our monthly newsletter. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'm easy to find and happy to help. Reach me via LinkedIn, check me out at the China Sourcing Academy, or visit any of the companies that I'm associated with.